Yeah, so I'm gonna watch Leffen's Tekken 7 review. He's a professional Smash player, and he's trying out different fighting games. I think he's trying out Street Fighter at the moment, and he did play Tekken for a while. And I want to see how he sees the game. I want to see the insights of on the game from someone who's a noob, basically, in Tekken. Because I started playing Tekken in about 2013, which was a long time ago. I forgot what it is like to be a noob, and seeing others be scrubs and suck at the game, it gives me more understanding. How would I say it? It enables me to make my tutorials on YouTube in a way, well, basically I can make my tutorials more beginner friendly on YouTube so that everyone would understand them. Okay? I'm losing my voice again. I feel like I'm gonna get sick. I'm struggling to talk. Sorry. Am I gonna record for YouTube? Yeah, I'd like to put this for YouTube. Okay, my voice is better now. You haven't watched this yet, PSSMS? I watched like 10 minutes, so it's gonna be interesting. And I'll be saying my thoughts out loud as we go. I don't even know how it feels to discover Tekken. I played Tekken since I was a really little child. Tekken is a part of my life. Yeah, I played Tekken since I was a child as well, but I started playing seriously in 2013. It was a long time ago. Alright, let's get into it.
Hello everyone.
If the audio is alright,
first impression.
Please tell me.
What the fuck is Rest in Peace Total Biscuit of Tekken? To be clear, I played this game for 66 hours. I tried it once it first
For how long he played the game?
I played this game for 66 hours.
66 hours.
It once it first came out. It crashed 3 times in 2 minutes, so I gave up on it. It also had no
Yeah.
sample combos and all things, but a lot
Tekken not the most stable game.
I think
crashes
the
a
game
lot.
came out in arcades 5 years ago, and Season Pass 3 has just started, and they added some new things. So I thought I'd give the game another look.
Yeah,
I've been playing it on
he's
stream,
right.
and off stream, I've been watching a lot of videos about it, and yeah.
Is the audio right? Okay. It's a bit low.
Let's get this out of the way. Some people's feelings will be hurt. I do not hate the game. I think the game is great.
Okay.
Not for everyone.
He's not hating the
basically
game.
TLDR.
Please understand
All
that.
you're in is for the first knee-jerk reaction. That's what it is. That's my generalizing statement. That probably will be the title. Before I go through any of the subjective stuff, let's.
If it needs more adjustment,
start by
please
doing
tell
the
me.
more objective things. I've been running the game at 1440p. It runs pretty well. I have a 1070, but yeah, the game runs okay. It does drop FPS. You can see it up in the corner. Sometimes sound options, control settings, bottom.
Yeah, I don't know about the dropped FPS. It's an issue for me as well lately.
How the UI looks as well a little bit with some customization options. So there's 45 characters, I think. 46. There's a lot of characters. I have all of them but Elisa.
Yeah, a lot of characters.
Yeah, so I've been playing Kazumi, the basic character who I specifically picked to get an early start in the game, and so yeah.
Here's the thing. I
feel like I've gotten a pretty good handle.
I think that you can start to play Tekken with any character. I don't think any character gives you a head start in the game if you know what you're doing. If you're not trying to cheese up opponents with crushing moves or snake edges, you're gonna play fundamentally with any character you can pick up. Every character has pokes, essential moves, punishers. Every character can space. That's what matters in Tekken. He's using reductive reasoning on his choice. Yeah, I think you can cheese with every character, but you can also play fundamentally with every character. How would I say it? It depends on your thought process. If you want to play dirty, or if you really want to play you you want to play fair, and you're not trying to use your opponent's lack of knowledge against them, you're gonna learn fundamentals with every character.
In the game so far. Let's do this stage because it's the best song. I played ranked. I think you have like 300 wins or so, so maybe like 500.
If you're not intentionally trying to cheese with the character,
not too much offline,
you're gonna learn fundamentals with any character.
This is my rap sheet, you know.
Just don't use Snake Edge, you know.
I think I'm currently Savior. Highest rank I was Genbu, which I think is pretty good for.
The character has cheese, and you want to play fundamental Tekken.
Genbu at 175.
Just don't use the cheese.
That. And
okay, so you reached Genbu.
Azumi, and because I didn't want to cheese, I kind of want to learn the basic Tekken fundamentals. Like, I got some offers to be coached, but I specifically said no because I wanted to learn the game how an average person would learn it. Maybe I learned a little bit faster.
That's a good approach.
But of course, if you get personally coached, the experience will be very different. Yeah, Genbu is pretty middle of the road in terms of player base. I think it's top 20% or something. Other competitive players, most people are probably, you know, far above Genbu, but there's definitely a lot of people in Genbu that still go to tournaments, and lower, of course. Yeah, obviously, you know, the average Tekken player has played the game for very, very long.
Yeah.
And the game has largely remained the same.
2 years at least.
There has been change from game to game.
To be average at the game.
So getting to the middle or even, you know, even low level of that kind of player base, I consider myself pretty good, you know. No, I am not the best Tekken player. I know it's uncommon.
Getting Genbu so quickly shows some dedication.
Combos, I know some
it's not that difficult to get Genbu in Tekken 7, but still quite an achievement for a noob.
I've talked with some people, so for some of this review / first impressions, I will be referring to them and their opinions. Now, for example, the story, right? There's a cool intro cutscenes when you start up the game. I played a little bit of the story the first time and I was hilariously bored 5 minutes in. And from basically every single person I've talked to, they say that the story mode in this game is not good.
Yeah,
it's not worth buying the game for.
No.
If you're looking for a single player,
the offline content of Tekken 7 is quite bad.
The game. Now, there are sample combos, but many of these are not the best sample combo. They're not even that well explained. They don't say delay. They don't necessarily state exactly how well. It's a worse trial combo system than Tekken. I mean, than SF5, which is a pretty fucking low bar, honestly. But they recently added this, so it's still very good to have, right? Like, you can get a feel for a character pretty quickly.
I think the sample combos are good enough. They're good enough for the average newcomer, you know? The average newcomer shouldn't be focusing on the optimal combos straight away. And optimizing combos can be quite difficult. Because it depends on position and walls and stuff like that.
But I would advise you to, if you're learning a character, you're going to have to look to YouTube. And that's going to be a general theme, right?
Some characters like Leroy, for example, have great sample combos. They use his staple route in his sample combos. Lily's sample combos, for example, they could be much better. Yeah, that's true.
There's no tutorial in this game whatsoever, and we'll get to that, but it is what I consider the biggest flaw of the Tekken experience. Now, something new they added is punishment training. Now, this you can put on. Tekken is a lot about punishing things on block. And you can learn how to
and not just on block, but on whiff as well.
This is a great thing. Sadly, this does not have enough moves. My first match was playing a Psycho play Shaheen, and I didn't know the punish to his dive kick. I mean sliding kick. And Shaheen's punishment training does not have it. Now, you can get around this by using record function, but it's pretty annoying for a new player, especially because you might not know how to perform the move. And if you look at
I agree. The punishment list and all that kind of stuff needs more work. But you know, Tekken 7 had a really limited budget because Tag 2 was such a failure, so I can't blame Namco so for lacking content. I believe that the next Tekken game will be full of content.
at the move list, well, there's a fucking lot of them, and they, you know, knowing exactly how is very hard. And now Kazumi is even a character with few moves at a measly 65 moves. Now, to basically start with Tekken, right? Like, it's a 3D game. This means a lot of things. It means you can sidestep, it means you can backdash, forward dash.
Is this his first 3D game?
Sidewalk as well. This is what I'm doing right now.
I'm not sure.
And to do the moves, it's kind of different than if you're coming straight out of Street Fighter, for example. Like, there's down back moves, there's back light, you have left punch, right punch, left
I
kick,
find
right punch,
Tekken's
combinations to like grabs and shit like that.
I find Tekken's system so instinctive and intuitive that I love it. Whenever I tried other fighting games or even Street Fighter, I find the controls so awkward. Like the bottom mapping, it doesn't make sense to me at all because they don't correspond to limbs.
You probably know this. I was pretty fresh to it, honestly, and just getting used to doing the different moves, since there's usually one move per button in every direction, like down forward one, down one,
the punishment list is
down,
very incomplete.
Hold down one, then let go, and then one, which is called while rising, but while standing in the community. Yeah, it's pretty complicated.
Yeah, that's kind of confusing. While standing, while running, people while standing, while running, people confuse that a lot.
And it's probably the most divisive thing, I would say. 45-ish characters, and most of them have all the way from 60, 70, like Izumi, to King, who I think has like 200 moves or something. And you definitely don't use all of these moves, but you do use a lot of them. Now, the reason why it has so many moves is basically because throughout Tekken, they've mostly added moves through each generation, and most of these moves that are in were in Tekken 5, Tekken 6, you know, Tekken Tag 2. What does that mean? Well, it means that, yeah, 179. It's insane. And apparently there's some moves that are not even on here. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that it's very, very advantageous to have played the previous Tekken games. So if you're coming in as a newbie,
it's a legacy game, yeah.
Learn, and you have, you know, at least 50 moves per character, right? Now, some of these characters won't use many of them. Kazumi is actually a character that uses very few moves per match, but the more moves you know, the better. And something for me that's been troubling me is when I play a Horang or when I play someone, it can be very, very hard for me to recognize, is this move plus? Is this move minus? Because most of them are kicks, right? Same thing for Steve. Like, he has a billion different punches because he only punches, right?
Well, there is no visual cue to plus and minus frames. You have to look them up.
One of my main problems with the game, essentially. I'm not a huge fan of how it visually shows off what it does, right? Because Tekken is a game where knowing the frame advantage on hit, on block, on counter hit, all these things is absolutely essential. You cannot, and I mean you cannot, get around this game while not knowing frame data. You don't need to know the specifics for every move, but you do need to know, like,
general frame data.
When you watch a video on how to learn a character, right? They're gonna tell you Kazumi's 10 frame punish is her jab, her 11 frame punish is something else. I don't think she has one actually. Her 12 frame punish is 1+2. Her 13 frame is down forward. Her 15.
When you can feel if something is unsafe when the animation is long, that's not true, because sometimes the opponent's character takes a long time to recover, but your character takes a long time to recover too. So you cannot rely on stun animations in Tekken.
18 is up kick. Her 18 is forward 3 into 2. And then she has like uppercuts like 21. And this move is 20. Like, and then you also have to learn your crouching moves, where this one's 11 frames. And you do need to know that that one, 1, 2, is 12, because the moves will be minus 12 sometimes. Oftentimes they'll also be minus 11. And this is where a lot of the difficulty in learning Tekken essentially comes in. You need to know, is this move minus 12? Well, he could have done this one, right? Is it minus 14? Well, he could have done a different punish. Knowing this is absolutely essential to play Tekken at the top level. Now, early on, you can get away with just using jab for every punish, but the problem is that if you're not doing maximum damage on your punishes, the damage output will be very, very different. So just as comparison, right? If I only know that the move is minus 10 or 12. So jab, 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 which is, you know, pretty good 10 frame punish, 25 damage. Now, the proper punish for a 12 frame move that's minus 12, like this one, or, well, you actually can't do that on that one, but yeah, is this one, which is 30 damage. Now, sometimes a move will just be out of range so that the jab won't hit, like this.
Yeah.
But the 1-2 will hit. You need to know that. You absolutely need to know that. I don't even know if this is max.
Yeah, you need to research this stuff in Tekken. Knowledge is very valued in this game. And as he said, it's a legacy game. So old players like myself, we have a big advantage over newcomers who have to learn everything I had to learn 7 years ago, and more characters on top of that as well, and more mechanics.
But if you do a good combo instead, so you know
it's not really fair versus newcomers, and I don't like this trend where we keep getting more and more moves. I think the move list needs to be reduced, so I agree with him.
You can do it like this. Oops, I suck.
Tekken is as much as studying as it is practicing. Yeah.
Right, which does
knowledge and practice.
It's obviously like over
both are super important.
Damage because you knew a move was 6 more frames laggy, right? Now this is not even optimal. You can do even more, but the main problem is it's not really that doing the combos are hard. A lot of characters actually have easy combos, even good ones, like Azumi. Azumi is a really good character, but she has very easy combos, right? For the most part. There's some depth in the combos. Most of it comes from how close to the wall you are.
Yeah,
and
optimizing.
There are characters such as the Mishimas and
optimizing the combos.
Who are very, very hard execution-wise too. But it's absolutely not necessary to be a top-tier player to learn difficult combos.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
The biggest difficulty in Tekken is learning the amount of moves and learning how to punish things. Not only do you need to...
And not just that, but he's still not talking about movement, which is the most difficult part in my opinion. I think he doesn't understand the importance of Tekken movement yet and how it works, you know? Sidestep cancels and sidestep at which range to which direction, when to backdash and when not to backdash, etc.
To block things, right? And some moves like this one...
I hope he's gonna talk about movement at some point.
Part. If they duck, they get a full punish, launch punish as it's called. But if they, you know, don't duck and just hold back, like most people do, it's -1, right? So it's basically safe. I would say the main problem with this is that a lot of moves look similar. To me, this punch that she does is not obviously crouchable. To me, right?
To me it is. I mean,
to me this is not obviously crouchable.
I guess I just play a lot of Tekken. I can kind of tell when a move is a high or not. But sometimes you think a move is a mid and it's really a high, and vice versa, but it's quite rare.
Instead, I will do another string that's punishable regardless,
for me,
right?
At least.
This is -13. And this one's a mid, so this one you cannot crouch. It's not that intuitive to me to see that this string is not crouchable and that string isn't. And then you have the mix-up where you do that string.
That's just really strange that it's not intuitive for him, but I guess it's because he's coming from another game. I played Tekken all my whole life basically, and it's the only fighting game I play, so I don't know anything else. It's really intuitive for me.
Which punishes people trying to crouch.
The concept of highs, mids, and lows.
You need to know every character's main strings. You need to know where they end, you need to know where it starts. And not only on block. Not only do you need to know it on block, and you need to know on crouching block, because this move, right? If you block it standing, it actually forces...
You didn't realize it was a high either, because it's like an overhead punch. I think I realized it's a high because Kazuya had the same overhead punch from his down forward 1 in Tag 2. And it was a high, just like Kazumi's.
Forces you into crouch. At least I'm pretty sure. See how he's crouching?
So yeah, legacy knowledge again, I guess.
So if he presses jab, he will get crouch jab instead of standing jab, which means that you can essentially beat actually better than -1. And a lot of the time when I fight someone, they'll do a long ass string, and then at the end of it, I'll be crouching and I'll do jab jab 1, and I'll just get this one. And there's a lot of moves that are, for example, like high then mid, low then high, and just if you're new to Tekken, essentially you mostly stand block in Tekken, whereas in regular fighting you mostly crouch block, and lows are the risky slow ones that don't give much punish, just like how an overhead or a mid would do that in Street Fighter. So that's a very good beginner tip. Don't start stand blocking. Something that took me a long time to realize was that you actually don't even need to hold back to block.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You need to hold block. You need to hold block. Otherwise, that's just neutral guard. That's very bad. Don't do that. You're gonna get hit out of your moves.
I was tell you, but I did not get the message at the very least that if you hold nothing.
What is my take so far? My take so far is that he has a lot of good criticism about the game. Like, it's based very much on legacy knowledge, and newcomers have a hard time learning the game. That's fair. But you know, Tekken has always been like this. So as the title says, it's not for everyone. But it does reward a lot of dedication to the game. The game will love you back if you love it and you study it. It will love you back. The knowledge is really rewarding. But yeah, don't use neutral to block, please. I hope he realizes that.
The game will make you block standing always. You don't have to hold back.
Tekken is so different from 2D fighters. That's why I have a hard time getting into 2D fighters, and I think he has a hard time with playing Tekken. Even the concept of strings are weird for him.
To block. Legitimately, I did not understand this for like 4 days. Now, you wouldn't always do that. You should hold back most of the time. But the fact that you can let the stick go and still block things made me very confused for a while.
And you know what annoys me about other games? That you have to hold something. Well, in a lot of games, I guess, it's just not enough to hold back to block. I remember some, maybe Dead or Alive, I don't know which game it was, but you had to press a certain button to block. That was so bad. So not intuitive.
And again, this has been...
Yeah, Soul Calibur. No. Yeah, Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive, I think. I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Main problem. There's a lot of moves and that the game doesn't tell you. Those two
not intuitive at all.
Cause a lot of frustration for me. They're then coupled with the worst
and Mortal Kombat as well.
Online,
I'll never play those games.
To create a very frustrating experience.
I need to hold back to block.
Again, you don't only need to know how things are on block and if they force you crouching, if they push you far away. You need to know if they have armor. You know, you need to know the difference instantly between that punch on block and that punch. That one is punishable, right? And that one is very safe. This one is forward and then 2, which is the yellow button, as you can see, this button. And the other one is triple forward, so while you're already running, 2.
Triple
so
forward.
Very confusing.
I never heard anyone call warning 2 triple forward.
Now, the problem I have essentially is that it takes a very long time.
Is Tekken the hardest fighting game to get into for beginners? I don't know because I don't play many other fighting games, but from what I heard, yes it is, and I can see why. There's a lot of knowledge involved in Tekken, a lot of grinding just to be able to start playing mind games.
To do most things, this is very, very subjective. And I hope people understand that. Some people love this kind of depth. I would consider it complexity rather than depth. You can watch a video that I'll link in the description where Mayman Sweet talks about this concept. But essentially, I don't really consider it that fun to try to whiff punish this normal, only to find out that it had that string. Because you can cancel everything on whiff, right? That's not that fun for me. Now, some people love...
Cancel everything on whiff? What? What is he talking about? Can somebody explain me what does he mean?
That kind of
Cancel on whiff.
I can understand why. When you have that many moves, you can get very instant gratification, right? You get hit.
Oh, he means like Paul's gimmicks. Oh yeah, and Katarina cancelable stuff. But that's a couple of moves only. 99% of the moves in Tekken you cannot cancel.
Hit by this move, right?
He's saying you can use extensions on whiff. Oh right, but you just have you have to know that there's a string that's Also, if a string is coming out and catches you while you're trying to whiff punish, then you were too late with the whiff punish. You know?
How the fuck do I deal with this? This leads to Oki, does a lot of damage, 45 damage from a poke. It's safe on block, basically plus because it forces them to crouch. Now, if you know, you can just duck here, right? Guard all, okay. There we go, yeah. A lot of people love this type of improvement. They see a move, they go into training mode, and they find it out. Now, I would say that the problem I have with this is that I just don't enjoy it, you know? That's basically my problem. It's a shallow one, but I don't consider it very fun to have a ton of moves. Most moves have a glaring weakness, but there's so many moves and they're so hard to tell apart sometimes.
Because all the moves have their uses, you know? That's the beauty of them, I guess. And yeah, there is a lot of moves to lab, but I don't understand what is fun, in his opinion, about a fighting game then. I want to know.
That it's very, very hard to get into the kind of gameplay where both people are fully playing the game. At top level,
I guess the mind games? Yeah. That's fun, yeah. But I think, I don't know, I find labbing strings and getting free damage for my opponent's stupidity from strings they don't know a lot of fun.
every single player will know that this string is crouchable. Now you get into the mind game.
I mean, I enjoy punishing strings that people are throwing out carelessly.
Can you hit confirm it with one, or will you mix it up with the?
But yeah, that's a mix up
That's
too.
awesome. But there's also a lot of moves that simply are just pure gimmicks. This thing, for example, right? From fly.
Is this volley better?
Which is very punishable. Or you can do a high, which is safe and plus even. Then you also have this move that's unblockable, and then you also have that move, which crouching, wall bounces, so a lot of damage. And you have that move, which does some other things. This move that hits people lying on the ground. And then finally, how do you do this? Yeah, we have an unbreakable grab. And I didn't even understand that this was unbreakable the first time I did it. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it's the effect after. And this even wall splats in the corner. So you get a lot of damage from it, right? Look at his life bar. That absolutely can decide matches. Now, of course, there's still some mix-ups. It's still a legit stance, right?
But it's predictable. It's predictable. And that's the beauty of movement in Tekken. If you don't want to deal with mix-ups, movement usually solves that issue. You don't always have to guess.
But
and he still hasn't talked about the importance of Tekken movement.
Once you know the trick, you can make the mix-up significantly worse. When you really only look out for this one and that one and maybe the high.
It's not a mix-up.
For a new player, how the fuck should he know that grab wall splats? And there's so many of these stances and these specific moves that are extremely hard to know.
I get it. Tekken is not beginner friendly. You have to Google stuff to know these things. That Kazumi's throw is unbreakable, for example. I get it, but yeah, it's not for everyone. As the title says.
These strings, they're extremely hard. This is a low.
I'm still waiting for him to talk about movement.
move avoids highs, then hits low. It's -3, but then you can also do a follow-up, the combos, and then you can do the third low. But this one they can actually block the second one, right? Unless it's counter hit. But a lot of people will get caught by this because they don't know, right? And there's no
If you sidewalk, you won't get caught by it ever.
combo counter in game, so sometimes it's very hard to know if something comboed or if you just blocked the wrong way or you were a little bit slow. Add online to this and it becomes very, very hard to know. Now for grabs, you have to break grabs differently, right? This you break with a 1 or a 2.
Nah,
The back grab,
talking about the throws now.
2 or 1, and then you have command grabs, which uses both hands. That's the only thing. And the command grabs can basically be broken in different ways. Kazumi's you need to break with 1+2. Dragunov and King and others have command grabs that break differently. And basically, the answer is you gotta die and you gotta Google it, and then you will. Or you gotta you gotta look it up. You can't.
Yeah, you have to look up
way, shape, or
Tekken's throw
form
system.
Know how to beat most of these things the first time. It's a game that 100% just rewards you taking time and playing the game for 15 years straight.
Yes.
Some people love that.
Yes.
I personally think the game could do a lot better of a job telling you things and a lot better of a job explaining. It doesn't need to necessarily tell you, oh, how do you block it now? But once you've already gotten hit, what's the damage in saying this was a 1+2 break? What's the damage in after you're already done saying that was a 2 break? Instead, what you can use is a bot called Tekken bot, which I use, which puts a neat overlay up. Now, the problem I have with this bot is that it only shows the last 3 moves, and it's very hard to react to in time, right? So let's say you get hit by this move. As of now, the move, if I look right now, it doesn't even say, the move anymore. It says run 3, 4, 2, DF1. So I no longer know if this is safe or not. Because, it doesn't keep up more than 3 moves.
Yeah, practice mode is your best friend. You have to, if you don't know how to deal with a move or the frames on it, you have to look it up. There's no other way. Well, we will have replays later in season 3, and we've already seen that the replay feature will show you missed punish opportunities, so that's going to be very helpful, especially for new players, to find out which moves are unsafe and which ones aren't.
Now, maybe there's a way to change this, but I googled, and I could not find a reason why.
Harada's mouth. We don't add tutorials because nobody uses them statistically. I saw that, and I agree. I agree with him. But a basic tutorial with basic mechanics, I think it should be included in the game.
What basically this means is you gotta Google, you gotta YouTube, you gotta Google.
But even if you had the tutorial,
Basically,
there's
I improve pretty quick in this game, right?
so much stuff you will
What I
have to
would do
Google.
For every single
On top of that,
character, for every single time, is you gotta fucking Google. You open it up, you Google how to tech Kings grab Tekken 7. Then you have to read a full guide, and now you will beat this character like 50% more. That's legitimately how the game works. The game has a lot, and I mean a lot, of shortcuts. People try to tell you, you just gotta grind it out. If you want to improve quickly, do not try to grind it out. Google it out, okay?
you have to grind it out. Knowledge is one thing, but building up muscle memory, that's another thing. That's the second important part of Tekken. Actually applying the knowledge in gameplay. And reacting to the strings and the throws and the lows all the time. To be consistent. To be consistent, you have to practice. You have to grind. There's no other way. There's no other way.
How do you sidestep versus Leroy? You Google it. There's a season 2 guide.
Yeah,
That's old.
you have to build muscle memory. as Jin says. I have all the knowledge, but I lack muscle memory. That's my issue too. I like muscle memory a lot of times. Even though I know a move is -14. But I miss a punish because I haven't practiced enough, the Punisher.
So you gotta find someone up, sidestep Leroy, and you go and you read up.
He's talking about getting good fast, which isn't possible. It's not. There is no shortcut to getting good at Tekken.
Okay. And of course, fundamentals, movement, execution, all those things also matter. But the unique thing about Tekken is that Google and having someone teach you is far more helpful than just playing. If you want to get good at this game, that is something you have to realize and you have to accept. Now, if you don't...
Yes, he's speaking the truth. If you want to get better at the game, just playing is not enough. You have to Google, but you also have to grind. There is no shortcut to getting good. Knowledge does not guarantee that you can automatically become a top level player.
Don't want to get good at this game, fuck it, bro. Just mash. No one gives a shit, right? Stay bad, just mash. Tekken can actually be pretty fun to just mash. But I will say that learning this game without a personal coach, or at least a very, very supportive teacher / community, is not fun for me. I think I could probably get a coach.
Fair. Well,
and
you do you.
I'm lucky in that sense, but I simply do not really enjoy the fact that I have to get one if I want to learn things.
Well, he's not passionate enough about the game. If you love the game, you're gonna learn even on your own. But you know, he's not a Tekken player.
And Googling stuff, of course it helps in other games too, but I would say the necessity of it is very, very high in Tekken compared to most games. Now, the problem is also that things change a lot. So when you Google things like sidestep guide, this is something I had up all the time, right? Because if you don't know which way to move. You don't know how to play. The problem here is that you go into this guide, and since the game is constantly being updated, a lot of these things is outdated. You have Akuma has good homing, so sidestep is not always safe. Then you have some characters that you need to sidestep.
It doesn't
crouch.
change that quickly.
Some characters that in general you sidestep right against Robin. I mean,
2 or 3 buffs to a character will not make you suddenly want to step them the other way. It's really rare for such things to happen.
Bob, not Robin, what the fuck. And then at mid-range you sidestep left. But a lot of these things, people will know intuitively if they have been playing for a long time, right? And some characters have some moves that track right, and some moves that track left.
Wait, what did he just say?
And some characters intuitively if they... But a lot of these things, people will know intuitively if they have been playing for a long time, right? And some characters have some moves that track right, and some moves that track left. And sidestepping is different on both sides. If you try to sidestep out of crouch...
Did he just say that knowing how to step characters is intuitive? Because that's not true at all. But I might have misunderstood him. There is no way to intuitively know where to step a character. Unless it's from trial and error. But that's not the right way. You have to step with a purpose. If you don't know what kind of moves you're stepping, then you know. You have to know what to expect. You need to know the opponent's tracking moves. And that's how, and based on that information, these sidestep guides exist.
You can only sidestep upwards. But if you're on the other side, you can only sidestep this way. And
I believe he said it's intuitive to long-time Tekken players. You mean stepping and timing your steps? Well, yeah, you have to grind it out. So, you know, there is no shortcut to learning how and when to sidestep.
So depending on which side, you're actually better / worse against different characters based on which side you are on the opponent. It's all very, very complicated. Kazumi's down forward, this one, is actually better when you're on this side because you can't step it.
It's less intuition and more game feel. Yeah. After a while of playing Tekken, you can kind of feel when to block. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. Yeah, it kind of is intuitive, but once again, you have to grind it out. There is no shortcut to feeling when to sidestep.
Because it forces you crouching, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does. But the problem is that a lot of things you Google.
Yeah, it is the same thing.
So this is updated for season 3, right? But it doesn't have Leroy, which is the most played character that I face online right now. Now that's obviously a huge problem, and a lot of this knowledge, right? This guide goes back to Tekken Tag 2, which was the previous game, because that's how far back the knowledge goes. How to fight Dragunov is large.
Yeah, but a couple of... Didn't he say a while ago that these lists get updated frequently because of nerfs and buffs? Because that's contradictory.
Largely the same from game to game. What this means is that people that have been playing longer than you have a massive advantage. Like, it almost feels right. It's not accurate, actually like this, but it really feels.
I'm sorry
like
if I misunderstood wrong.
Unfair how hard this game rewards playing different games. If you didn't play Tekken Tag 2, well, too bad. If you didn't play Tekken 6, too bad. You're gonna have to learn all of these things that everyone else already knows as a fact, and you're gonna actually have to learn how to play your own character well if you want to be great at this game. Isn't this the case for any competitive game? No. Most games
really
do reward legacy in some way, but many games do not reward legacy skill as hard as Tekken. It's huge.
Yeah, I heard.
Smash is similar in that
aspect. About that.
Depends on how you see it. I would say that in Melee, legacy basically does not exist. Very little transfer over from Smash 64, obviously. The game is also constantly changing, so like you can catch up in Melee pretty quickly because there's a lot of new things that fight the legacy. Net play, guides, you can learn the game in a newer way. Of course that exists for Tekken too, but Melee and other Smash games don't.
So there's constantly new things in games like Smash. So how is it fun having to learn all these new things, all the time? I find Tekken being a legacy game way more fun than having to learn thousands of new, or, well, not thousands, but a bunch of new mechanics all the time, Can we make him louder? Yes.
Don't have as many characters. Now, I will say that legacy skill is absolutely a thing when it comes to Smash 4 and Ultimate and Brawl. Brawl into Smash 4 into Ultimate, a lot of
I kind of want to try Smash.
Really only me and a few Melee players that can even compete against the top Smash 4 players, because the game is largely the same. And again, legacy skill is even heftier when it's so knowledge based, right? Tekken has, relative to other even Smash games, fewer rule changes from game to game. They have a couple new moves, they have a couple new things, a couple new stages, but largely the fundamental gameplay remains very similar. Even in Smash 4 to Ultimate, which is not a big jump, everything changed. Like the movement, the combo system, the DI, the Smash DI, all the stages that you play on neutral, everything changed, right? Like the top tiers changed.
So how is it fun to learn new combos and new systems all the time? But I don't get it.
The Mishimas have been good in almost every game, I'm pretty sure. That's my biggest complaint, right? The game is very, and I cannot understand this, hard for newcomers. Some people love this, okay? And maybe in a different reality where it had a better offline scene, I would also not mind this as much. But I don't like having that many different things to learn just to get into the game part of the game that I actually enjoy. So what I actually enjoy is when both people know you can sidestep this one right, you can this one track sidestep, this one hits hits crouches but it's safe. I like when the mind games, when it becomes about the player versus the player. Again, this is subjective, but I don't really like when he doesn't know that I have this grab and then I hit him with it. Now, a lot of mid-level players love cheese like that.
Nobody likes that. That's why we hate ranked and we hate online Tekken. We want to play mind games in tournaments with people who are knowledgeable enough about the game. But, yeah. In order to get to the mind games, unfortunately you have to grind through the cheese, the gimmicks, the green rank hell online. Everybody has to go through that, unfortunately. But it makes you... It builds your fundamentals, your defense, you know? So, that's why it's important to grind through the ranked hell.
To me, it's not, you know, my favorite thing. And it doesn't really feel like I can play an honest, actual, real game of Tekken like the top players do, where both people know everything, until about like 5-10 matches in. And here's the problem. When you play online, it's about ranked, right? So people, they play 3 games, they win all of them because you don't know how to beat.
I wouldn't mind cheese online if the connection was stable. Because miss me with that 3-bar Tekken gameplay.
There's strings, you don't know when the string goes high, when
he got to gamble
low, when
online.
the string goes mid, what the frame advantage is. And once you learn that, you start getting closer, they leave, right? To get the maximum amount of points. So the problem is essentially that on...
Why is he talking like people who are good at Tekken didn't go through the process of learning? He's not talking like that. He's just talking his perspective and what he likes and what he doesn't like about the game. I think he realizes that everyone has to go through this in Tekken. Everybody has to go through the cheese.
On the line, the game is not very enjoyable to play for me. Now, a lot of people say, well, Leffen, why don't you play the game offline? So I actually said this earlier, that, man, I know there was a local tournament that had like 80 entrants. I know there's some good players in Stockholm. I even know some of them. So there's bound to be locals, right? Nope. A lot of people that like Tekken are in their late 20s, their 30s. You know, they've been playing Tekken, they have it as a hobby. A lot of them are fucking good. But very few people seem to take the game super seriously, like grind out sessions all the time. And those that
yeah, well, because they're middle-aged men who have families and other duties than just playing Tekken. That was a big issue in doing Tekken 6. The community was dying out because there weren't enough new players. All the people were veteran players. Same in Tag 2. Tekken 7 has brought a lot of new blood into the scene, which made the game lively again. Smash is different, I presume, since it's the most popular fighting game and it's very casual friendly, I guess. So there's probably a lot of young people who have nothing better to do than just playing Tekken.
Do generally do private sessions with other good Tekken players. At our local that has a lot of fighting games, there's like from 0 to 3 people playing Tekken. And one of them is Psych, who I already know from Smash, right?
Main Man lives in the safe country has said that there's a scene in Stockholm, contrary to what Leffen says. Oh, maybe you just haven't found them. Should have contacted the main man. He would know. He would know how to guide him.
Locals, you know, where a lot of people come every month. So for someone trying to pick up the game, how am I supposed to pick up the game when I can only play the game offline every month, right? The answer is always so sad. It's online. Online is hell in Tekken. While it does have an okay relative
yes, it
to
is.
Ultimate
it's hell.
SF5 netcode. I would say the netcode is not terrible. It's simply bad.
It's bad.
It's not rollback.
It's really bad.
You play on PC, slightly less lag. Now the problem is that Tekken feels like a game, at least from my experience, that is very reliant on whiff punishing, on reacting. There's a lot of moves that, for example, this move is a low, like a snake edge.
Yes.
It will dodge everything. It will give a full fucking combo. What's the weakness? How is this move not completely broken? Well, if you're good at recognizing the move, you can react to it.
Yes.
Online though, you can't. So the move is just kind of...
That's why we hate online Tekken, don't we?
busted online. Similarly, when you sidestep through moves, and then you do an attack.
I kind of want to see you play
something, your
Smash
hurt
now.
box
I
is
feel like
enlarged
you'd probably
as you do
do
it.
pretty well. I'd love to play Smash, but isn't it available only on Nintendo or something?
Right. The problem is essentially with that is that if someone does a string and you sidestep it, you don't know if you get the punish. Right
Oh,
away. You
that
need
sucks.
To watch
I don't want to
what
buy a
string is he
console
doing.
for
Does
it.
it have a second part? Is he gonna do jab jab 2? Which tracks? What this means is that sidestep and then reacting is basically a very, very fundamental thing.
The capture card is not an issue. I
And
have a
with
capture
punishing,
card.
Backdashing and then standing at this range, he did something. And then do a button. And here's the second part about the online. What's wrong with this? Well, it says 4-bar, disconnection rate 2, English, but it's showing Asia as the region. Why does it think, as a person
Because
from
you can
Sweden,
change
why
your
does it think
region.
that I have a 4 out of 5-bar connection with someone from Asia? Now,
Right?
this will also
Can't you
give
change
me
your
people
region?
From, like, I've had people from Australia. I've had people from the US.
Yeah. You can change your
Basically, the game
region.
lies. The
It's
game, like,
fake
takes a
Asian.
very shitty estimation.
Yeah,
of what it
memeing
thinks our
regions.
ping will
I
be, and then
know.
once you actually load into the match,
Like the
you actually
main
get to
man
experience
memeing on
it.
me that he's Korean.
You can't track at all really what country someone is
So
from.
that we could
Sometimes they'll have it
deathmatch.
set to a different one, and sometimes they'll just have a different language. Expecting to get good matches, you're not gonna get it from the official one, right? So let me just take you through. Like, I'll play this guy. I'm not gonna play good. But let's just try and see how it is, right? How my process is when playing someone. Oh, it's a Kazumi. This is actually the first time I'm playing Kazumi. So now I'm gonna go look up.
Zoomer versus
What way do I sidestep?
Zoomer.
I sidestep right. Well, I know most of the frame data now, but you need to basically Google as soon as possible, how do you beat this character every single time if
At least now he can't say he doesn't know the matchup.
you want to perform well.
Round 1. Fight.
Oh. Yeah, as you see, the connection's already gone on to a 4 out of 5. Uh-oh. I'm getting my shit slammed.
Nice throw break, wow! He was probably just mashing 1 or 2. But if he broke that throw on reaction, then GG.
Fuck, dude.
Round 2.
Playing ranked on stream, not a good idea. Counter hit. Does he know how to break his own throw? No. This guy's doing a lot of weird ass gimmicks.
3. Fight.
What? Oh, that's not punishable? Oh, that's not punishable? Oh,
He says you can skip to the mind games if you have the knowledge about strings. I'm pretty sure he knows 1-1-2 is launch punishable, yet he's not punishing it. Because he's missing what? He hasn't grinded out the muscle memory. You have to grind it out.
Oh, he did that move, which is launch punishable.
This dude doing strings, yeah.
Man, this guy plays so different from me. Alright, rage strike punish. YOLO!
YOLO. You got a YOLO online.
Round 4. Fight.
He's not moving at all.
I'm getting so
I wish he
triggered.
saw
I
the
should not be
beauty
playing
of
this on
Tekken
stream, man.
movement.
I really should not.
Nice job
I'm
into throw.
completely forgetting how to step too.
That's a good strat.
Final round. Fight.
Ah, Kazumi shenanigans.
Oh god. Oops.
Nice.
That was a terrible punish.
But you have the knowledge. What's going on? You don't have the muscle memory. Can't learn that. You have to grind it.
Fuck.
His lack of muscle memory for sidestepping bellies. His origin as a 2D player. Yeah, like, one thing is knowledge, but the other thing is muscle memory.
I didn't lose the mirror match.
There is no shortcut to becoming a good player.
But yeah, basically, what you need to know whenever you're playing someone is what kind, like at least in my.
He's putting so much pressure on himself.
Okay, this is such a
I guess he
perfect
is, yeah.
fucking example of Tekken Online. Hype match, close, same character, you lost. Run. That's the Tekken experience if you want to play online. It's gonna take time. Exactly. I don't have fun because I have to spend more time. That's basically what everyone's saying to me. Some people say you should have obviously known this, but anyone that's actually decent know that Tekken has a lot of weird exceptions, a lot of weird rules, and sometimes a mid gets patched to a high or reverse. Sometimes the move looks like it's plus, but it's minus, and sometimes it looks like it's minus, but it's plus. And some people say you're just being
Yeah, you can't rely on visuals.
overwhelmed. Exactly. You're placing more importance on learning these type of things than necessary. Well, how do you think so? Because I tried to whiff punish, and well, the string had another part, so I got launched instead. I tried to punish something, but I got no damage instead of launch.
If you try to whiff punish the first hit of a string, and you get hit by the second hit, it wouldn't be a whiff punish, because it wouldn't connect as a whiff punish. You were too late. That's not how whiff punishment works.
Launch punish because I didn't know how to duck. That's basically almost a half round of damage in just knowing that one move could be duckable. Someone did a snake edge and I didn't know that character had one, and now I lost an entire round on that. Is that fun? Maybe to you. Maybe I don't need to focus on it, but I want to. I want a game where I can reasonably expect to learn most things. You know, it's just not for me, man. A lot of people act as if you just need to accept it. But the thing is, I don't. Maybe some of you guys have been playing Tekken so long that you think it's your identity to play Tekken and to be a Tekken player. And that when I say Tekken is not for me, you think that I'm insulting you specifically. No, I don't have.
Yeah, you say something as a streamer that you don't like, people automatically translate that as you're hating on them, on their character.
Have to learn any of these things. I can play another game. There's a lot of fighting games that are good right now, and yeah, I just don't feel the need to learn a game that doesn't bother putting up a tutorial in it. You know, I don't feel the need to learn a game that can't give a mission mode, or it can't tell me how to tech throws in game. You have to Google it. I don't want to compete in a fighting game where they play best of 3 all the way up until winter finals, where they let Leroy, Akuma, and Geese rock for a full season, and then did they balance patch right before Tekken World Tournament? Is that true? I think I heard someone say that. Yes, that's sad. Akuma nerf. Well, he was the best character, so it's a big fucking deal. There's a lot of things I don't agree
No,
with.
it's not a big deal because the nerf wasn't significant. Even after the nerf, he was the strongest character.
Tekken, but I want
Just
to
less
state
broken.
this very, very clearly, okay? Tekken is a good game. If you love Tekken, I'm really fucking happy because you are in luck. You have a great Tekken game on your hands, and chances are that you're already playing this game, right? I didn't need to tell you shit. Now, Would I recommend this to a new player? For me, it's very hard. You will have to enjoy the type of learning that Tekken offers. Tekken learning is basically, you're gonna have to get hit by a lot of shit. You can focus on the fundamentals and you will definitely improve, and I have improved as well.
Yeah,
But
he's right. He's
you're
right.
gonna have to accept that you're gonna get hit by gimmicks, you're gonna get hit by unblockables, you're gonna
have to go through hell.
100% of your life to one king throw. You're gonna
Tekken
get hit
hell.
by Yoshimitsu's everything. That's just how it is. And the game doesn't make any apologies for what it is, which is completely fine. It's just not for me, man. And I don't think it's for a lot of people. But here's the thing I want to say to the Tekken community. You're awesome, keep doing what you do. But if someone has gripes with the game, you cannot take it so defensively. It's completely fine that they don't like that every character's AE moves. It's completely fine that they want a tutorial. It's completely...
I agree with that. The Tekken community has to stop being so butthurt about everything and about having different opinions. You know? Yeah. It's his opinion, and I get that. I accept it. And I agree that if you want to get good at Tekken, you have to enjoy the game. Because there's so much learning that you have to do. So much shit you have to get hit by. So many gimmicks you have to grind the muscle memory for. You really have to dedicate a lot of time to get good at this game. And you will not dedicate time to this game unless you love it. That's why a lot of dedicated Tekken players only play Tekken and no other fighting games.
Completely fine that they don't like the online. Would I recommend to this game to buy it? If you want to buy it for PS4, right? Like, how much is it? Like, on a regular day, not on the sale. 50? Yeah, for $50 for PS4, I would not recommend it to buy it right away. What I would do is, since Tekken is a game where if you're into it, you might just fucking love it. Like, you might play Tekken until the day you die. What I would do
Like
is
the main man.
look up your local Tekken scene, right? Through Facebook, through Twitter, through Reddit, because offline is...
You're gonna play Tekken 25 as a 80-year-old grandpa with his grandchildren.
It's where you will have the most fun playing Tekken, and it's where you will learn the most, because you're gonna have to find a supportive scene if you want to get good and enjoy this game, most likely, or at least, you know, find a friend. Maybe split the game, you know, the cost of the game, so it's a bit less intimidating. Try and see if you like it. If
It's not an
you go to your
advantage.
offline scene
You're right.
and they brush you off like, whoa, you haven't even tried the game before, well, then you know that that scene is not nice to new people, and there's really no point in trying to play the game anyway. Discord. Oh, so yeah, if you're into learning the game, joining Discord definitely helps. I still would not recommend playing this game to mostly play online. Even if you play through Discords, the netcode is not very good. But doing player matches and long sets versus people definitely helps iron out some of the flaws, I would say.
That's the way to go. Long sets with players you know to improve. But I think ranked helps a lot with dealing some of the worst gimmicks ever.
That said, I've really enjoyed my week of Tekken. Trying out a new game is cool. I don't think I enjoy the game as much as I just enjoy improving. Let's go through some of the subjective, you know, stupid shit. Like customization, you can customize your character. We made Fox. Yes, it is much better than Ultimate's netcode, but it's still very bad. We made Fox. She has a shine. A scouter. In general, the customization
Fox?
is
that a Smash character?
You have to play a mode that no one
Is that
likes to
Kunomitsu
play
in
to get
Smash?
a lot of the unlockables.
Listen to him carefully now. Okay.
The
I'm gonna listen.
customization is pretty lackluster. You have to play a mode that no one likes to play to get a lot of the unlockables.
Wait.
You have to play a mode that no one likes. A scouter. In general, the customization is pretty lackluster. You have to play a mode that no one likes to play to get a lot of the unlockables. But it is there. Again, the game does not tell you a lot of things, and the game does also not do a lot of things. Now, what I will say is one of my main gripes when it comes to like artificial stuff, like on the surface, Tekken has some fucking godlike soundtracks in its catalog, right? But this game is extremely, and I mean extremely, hit or miss on its soundtrack. Some songs are outright fucking awful, and I will play you
Which one?
now. And the one earlier, Infinite Azure, is fucking amazing.
Infinite Azure, amazing.
Just listen, man. But yeah, there's mods that apparently let you change this stuff, so that's good, and lets you customize your characters a bit more. One gripe I do have is that you can use custom skins in ranked, and you can have taunt items such as gun. And I've legitimately lost matches with someone picking up a fucking gun and shooting me.
Oh, he got hit by the lasers. And laser guns. Oh yeah, we all have to go through that as well. It's just another gimmick. That's the purpose of these items.
Listen to this song, dude.
But yeah, the song sucks. I don't like it either. But the majority of Tekken 7 soundtracks are
sounds like
amazing.
a robot has a whole fucking squad of robots has diarrhea at the same time. Yeah, you can have a shower head on your head as you play ranked. There's a lot of really stupid things going on in ranked.
Yeah.
So again, I would
Well, not in ranked, but in customization. A lot of the items are absolutely useless. Nobody will ever wear those items.
really recommend playing this game offline. I would definitely recommend watching some YouTube videos. I'll try to link it in the description, but there's the way I learned the game was through watching mostly YouTube videos before I started playing. I didn't play a single match until like day 3. There's a playlist called Learning Tekken the Right Way or something. A lot of it's outdated, which is really sad. All the tutorials aren't amazing.
How is it outdated? No, I think even Tekken 6 tutorials are amazing on general stuff like movements, because it's a legacy game, so a lot of the stuff never changes. It's the same game.
They don't explain everything, but they explain a hell of a lot more than the base game does. Alright, I can't fucking take more of this.
Yeah, we're watching
Not a
Leffen's
big fan of
Tekken
character
review.
design. This is very, 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 very subjective. I don't like how most of the characters fucking look like they're from 2004. Some people love the character design. Some people...
Yikes. The Tekken 5 designs, yes. We had to suffer 2004 designs until Tekken 7 came out. Like Asuka's, for example. That's so 2004.
claim it's classic.
Yeah, a lot of them are outdated.
I have very few characters in this game that I think are visually appealing. This is very, very subjective. They're supposed to be a bit more down to earth compared to regular fighting games. You know, the styles are based on martial arts instead of like this guy is a fire guy and this guy is an ice guy. But then there's also like, this is a literal vampire. You know, this is a literal robot. Negan from The Walking Dead is here. You know, it's kind of... the roster is a really weird situation. I'm not sure if I like that they have the new characters. I think I do. But it also makes the average characters kind of look really meh in comparison. And a lot of like the girls suffer like major same face syndrome. But yeah, some character designs are really cool. Like I like...
Yeah, I agree about the same face syndrome. Like, they have slightly tweaked characteristics, but yeah, there's just very slight differences in the faces. They all have the same pretty face thing going on, with the same proportions. And I think the female characters need more diversity.
Safina, I like
The same
Kazumi,
anime face on all the
but
females.
I don't really know where the fuck she gets the tiger from. It's kind of random. Akuma's here. Akuma's kind of badly designed in this game though, from what I've played against, and I like him in other games. Overall, it's just not for everyone, man. I really don't think this game is for a lot of people. If you see Tekken, I think you can kind of know if it's, you know, for.
But because the character roster is so diverse, which he doesn't like, I think, because it has, or maybe he likes it, but he just said that the ordinary characters look very meh in comparison. But that's the beauty of this character roster. Every person can bond with one of these characters and see themselves in these characters.
For you. Just keep in mind that if you watch tournaments, the gameplay you see at tournaments is not how it's going to be. Like, the game is not very cheese based in top level, but it's cheese all the way through low to mid to even low high level. Whereas in some games, you can start playing the same game, like the proper game earlier. Is it hard? I think it's rough to pick up rather than really hard. I promise you don't need to know all that stuff to start playing the proper game. I mean, I can kind of feel like I do play the proper game, but I also feel like this.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You're very far from the proper game.
To get to the good part than any other fighting game that's out right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but I watched this tutorial earlier. Let's take speed kicks up, right? So the first thing you learn with any character is punishment.
I'm just judging from that one match he showed. There was no movement going on, and he hasn't talked a lot about the movement of Tekken, which everybody loves in Tekken, especially the older players. We love movement. And he just kept talking about strings and how the move lists are large, but he hasn't understood how movement works in Tekken yet.
By the way, punishes and combos first. 10 frames. She has 1, 2, 2.
So you learned the 10 frame punish?
Has frame advantage and leaves him standing, and she also has 1, 1, 2.
Why does anyone value this guy's opinion? It's just his opinion. I just want to see how other new players view Tekken.
Which is probably what you'll end up doing more because of the knockdown and the fact that you can confirm it really easily. Doesn't wall split.
This is a good tutorial, by the way. I 100% agree with the way he's going.
1+2, which has had its damage toned down in Season 2, but it's still dope. It has really deceptive range. So
basically what he does through here is he goes through frame by frame which punch.
It's strange because he actually started the game with learning Korean backdash. I would love for him to talk about movement more. How difficult it is to get into the movement of Tekken. That you have to learn Korean backdash, which isn't easy, and it's like the most essential Tekken strategy ever, Korean backdash. And he hasn't talked about it at all. A lot of other players from different fighting games, they keep saying how they don't like Tekken's complex movement, but I haven't heard anything from him about movement much.
Specific option, from crouching, from standing, from which range. And for me, if you go through Leffen Young Link or something like that, right? When you learn a Smash character or a regular fighting game character, the first thing you do is you show off the moves and what makes this character this, not what frame of move do you use to punish this thing with. And I feel like that's the type of thing that makes Tekken very, very hard in the beginning. Am I saying that there's only one way to learn Tekken? Absolutely not. Very, very hard in the beginning.
Wait.
And I feel not what frame of move, show off the moves and what makes this character this, not what frame of move do you use to punish this thing with. And I feel like that's the type of thing that makes Tekken very, very hard in the beginning. Am I saying that there's only one way to learn Tekken? Absolutely not.
So is he saying that you can see straight away what kind of playstyle the character in Smash has? Is it that's what he's saying?
Right? Absolutely fucking not. Some people might enjoy, learning frame data, specific combos, stuff like that. To me, it's just not what I'm in, what I'm looking for. I don't really feel like I'm playing the game. I don't really feel like it's fun to lose to things you just didn't know.
Or maybe that the game isn't visual enough and it just consists of strings, different kicks and punches. and they all look the same. I don't know.
I don't really think it makes it deeper just because it has more moves. But some people love that part, and I'm really happy for those people. But yeah, overall, can I recommend this game? If you're watching this and you think it looks fun, fuck it. You know, fuck what I'm saying. Give it a try, right?
Of course.
But can I recommend someone dropping $50 to be miserable for 2 months and then liking the game? No. I think there's plenty of fighting games that you can have fun within the far earlier, even if most fighting games are hard to pick up. Of course. Dude.
But aren't you miserable at first at every fighting games for the first 2 months? Because you don't know anything about the game and you're getting beat up online. Tekken is no different.
I know I can backdash more stuff, but you can't get around the fact that a lot of strings are pure cheese. Oh yeah. On sale, I heavily recommend it. Right now there's a sale, but I don't.
Not every fighter. But like, even if you play Tekken for 2 months only, you already are learning how to deal with some gimmicks. You know how to block dragon, duck. For example, Kazumi's Wasening 4-4, and that rewards you, that knowledge rewards you. You're beating gimmicks that you're seeing online, and that makes you a better player. You're gonna encounter cheats for the next 10 years. That you cannot really avoid it in Tekken.
I don't know. So this teaches you
2 months in Tekken puts a really mildly 2 months in Tekken puts it really mildly. Yeah, you need at least like a year or two to become decent. But I don't know. For me, finding out that a string is duckable or punishable, I feel really satisfied punishing someone for doing the wrong string or punishing their gimmicks. I find that really satisfying. Yeah. Learning Tekken's mechanics and learning how to beat cheese. That's what drew me in the game, I guess.
You how to avoid cheesy strings. Alright, so, okay, string cheese. I haven't seen any other documents, so I decided to make one encountering typical low-level strings that new players often get blown
The reward
up.
is what makes it enjoyable. Indeed.
Shout out to Fair. If you have any questions, right? So, okay, so how many pages does this have? 1, okay, you know, that's a Kuma. That's a lot of those. Oh, it has 83 pages of low-level strings. And it doesn't even cover, you know, like what if my character has a slow launch? You don't need all that? Well, you don't. You need more than this. If you want to be a top-level player, you need to know way more than just the low-level strings, man. So if you enjoy reading this type of things, I think this one is great because it actually has Giphy cats. That's actually one of the main problems I have with learning things, that a lot of them say the move inputs, which mean nothing to me. DF1-2 with Elisa, I don't fucking know what that is, but I do know, you know, I can see it now and then learn to recognize it. Yeah. You know, if you like this part, Tekken is for you, because there is so much, so many specific things. I genuinely really like the core gameplay of Tekken, though.
But in Leffen, his case, he doesn't think the reward is worth the effort he has to put in, which is fine because that's his opinion. I respect his opinion, but I find it fun, and a lot of players who are new to the game and they find it rewarding to find out that they can sidestep jabs, for example, or that they can duck that string they've been spammed or memed on by Dragunov, for example. Finding out that Dragunov's back 4-2-1 is duckable. For some people, finding that out is super rewarding, and that's what really hooks people into the game. I guess.
Love it, but I do really like it. I really like the movement. I like the mix-up game. My main breaking points are essentially my local scene isn't strong. The game rewards legacy skill too much for my life.
Well, somebody in the chat said, the main man said, there is a Tekken community in Stockholm that plays Tekken regularly, so that's probably not true. Okay, then it's too legacy based for his style. I accept that.
liking, so it would take a long time for me to become tournament threat, which is not, you know, a problem really if I like the game more, because then it would be worth the time. 2, the online is too bad for me to feel like I'm having fun.
Yeah, online sucks, but what else can we do? It's not that bad when you play long sets with players who aren't trying to use lag strats against you and 3-bar snakeages.
In most of the
And I do think that the move list of Tekken should be reduced, and it would help new Tekken players greatly, and it wouldn't take out any depth from the game. It wouldn't take away from the depth of the game, having 20% less moves in the game. The game would be still just as difficult as it is right now, but there would be less useless homework.
matches, and as I keep going higher rank, there would be fewer and fewer players, which means that the connection will get on average worse and worse. UC is different from the Tekken you play, isn't because we know all these strings. Well, I do think knowledge is a massive thing. Whiff punishing, block punishing are absolutely essential. Blocking offense, blocking defense, that's what, you know, makes so much about the game. And if you don't know that Safina has a high and a low, and if it's punishable, if it's not punishable, you can't play the game properly against her. You can play the game, but it's not going to be proper. Yeah, and if all you want to do is play the game, fuck man, play it. And the problem is, again, that like, because the legacy knowledge is so big, it feels like everyone will just accept and be really toxic. I mean, that's my experience in Twitch chat. People are extremely toxic when you don't know a specific thing, or you get hit by some mix-up. But again, just my opinion. I've asked a lot of different people too that are also starting out with the game, Psych, Helix, and sadly, a lot of them have expressed similar problems, that they don't like how much new things, you know, not that there's too much things, but that the game doesn't properly teach you almost anything, and that there's too much legacy stuff. Lol, that's because you don't.
One thing I just remembered is that if you learn and practice movement early, you start backdashing in ranked. You don't even need to know move properties on block or on hit, because your opponents are just gonna whiff all the time. What do people in green ranks do? Or they just stand there and mash buttons. Well, you can just sidestep and backdash and whiff punish them all day long, you know?
It's so hard to try to argue with people when the only thing they can say is you just bad because mad. Tekken isn't an easy game to jump into and quickly catch up to what's optimal play. I think it's one of the hardest games to pick up, not because it's the hardest necessarily. Even if it was the hardest, that's not why it's hard. Yeah, of course people are going to try to get me mad, because again, there's a lot of people that have been playing Tekken so long. They play it through their childhood. They've been playing Tekken. They're in their 30s now, living it in their mom's basement. And the only thing they have keeping their ego together is that they're above mid-level, barely at Tekken, right? These people.
I'm playing Tekken in my boyfriend's basement.
People are going to be fucking pissed off if you think that the game is not literally perfect, right? That's their identity you're insulting. But I also think there's a lot of reasonable people that can see that, you know, I love Tekken, but it's not for everyone. And I honestly think that if you think Tekken is for everyone and easy to pick up and not like the hardest fighter to pick up of this generation, I think you're honestly delusional. Because I can't think of a single fighting game that's even close to as hard to pick up as Tekken. KOF 13 is pretty hard. That's not the current generation. And KOF 13 is not hard to pick up than Tekken. I've, like, a lot of people will be like, Leffen, but you're just a smasher. You're used to having 10 moves. And like, I know a lot of people say that, but just for clarity, right? Like, I played Third Strike. I was kind of shit at Third Strike. I played SF4 and
Guilty Gear is harder than
Pro
Tekken.
Tour points.
I never played Guilty Gear.
I was one of the best in Sweden in KOF 13. I was the second best in Marvel 3. I was top ranked in both PS4 and PC in Marvel Infinite when that came out. SF5, I was the highest ranked player in Sweden when it came out. I was obviously like top 10, top 20 level in Dragon Ball. living in a shit region, top in Smash. Am I forgetting some fighting? I'm probably am, but yeah, it's not just Smash players having a hard time, right? It's a hard game to pick up, even compared to all of those other fighting games. Oh yeah, I played Eunice and stuff like that. No, I don't think Tekken is... I don't think you should drop Tekken because it's too hard. I think the combination of hard and teaching you nothing can be very, you know, displeasing to play through. So yeah, I'll probably learn Safina at some point. I can definitely backdash and like get better at movement.
But can you
For me,
apply
it's
it in a
like-
match?
It's just not fun, man. I have fun with most fighting games. I'm gonna be honest, when I played ranked Tekken, that shit makes me more infuriated than even fucking Elite Smash. And that's a fucking accomplishment, okay? That's a motherfucking accomplishment. I spent a full fucking year hating on Elite Smash, and now I want back because it feels more fun to play. People care less about GSP than they care about rank points, so
I have
it's
no
a
idea what
little
he's
bit less
talking about.
toxic. To be clear, I think Ultimate, netcode, and online systems are way worse than Tekken's, but I have access to an offline community scene when it comes to Ultimate, which I do not with Tekken. And even though I think Ultimate has a fuck ton of cheese too, at this point I'm 1 year in, so that cheese isn't as annoying for me. I've learned to deal with a lot of the cheese. Is that a good argument for someone else to pick up Ultimate? Hell no. This is a purely selfish perspective. If I spent 1 year in Tekken, I would enjoy it more than I would enjoy Ultimate. But I would be extremely excited if Tekken 8 came out and did some major changes.
No,
Some people
no,
don't
no,
want
no,
major
no,
changes.
no, don't change anything about Tekken. It's perfect the way it is. Don't change anything about Tekken. Because it wouldn't be Tekken anymore. No major changes. Well, depends. How big are the changes? I guess.
And I don't necessarily expect them there to be. I like the core of Tekken. I just don't like the bloating, the online, you know.
I would like to know what is his understanding of Tekken. What's the core of Tekken in his opinion? Is it... Because it's... I feel like he's saying the core of Tekken is punishment, like knowing strings and block punishment, which is a large part of the game, I guess, but I'm kind of sad he didn't talk about movement, because I think that's the most important part of Tekken, and I think everybody else would tell you that Tekken is about movement. He's saying about the game that pro players have when both people know what they're doing. Yeah, but he hasn't experienced that. What does he think is the essence of Tekken? The mind games? Because you can say that about every fighting game. What's the essence of Smash? Oh, mind games. What's the essence of Mortal Kombat? Mind games. You know? I don't even know you could be more mad at Tekken Online than Smash Online. Smash is borderline unplayable online. Really? The problem with Tekken for him is that he has to spend a lot of time learning stuff to get into the mind games. Yeah, but... yeah, just have to grind through it. It won't be fun if you don't love the game. Have I ever played against Yu? No, she's Asian. And I haven't traveled to tournaments that much yet. Not that far. He doesn't want to play for fun, he wants to be competitive immediately. I don't know, it's all weird. He wants to be competitive in a game he doesn't enjoy. Have you guys heard of anything he likes about Tekken? Because I feel like he only talked about the things he doesn't like about Tekken. But where's the stuff he likes about Tekken? I would like to hear those opinions. With Smash Online, you're more likely to face someone on Wi-Fi because the Switch discourages you to play wired. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. He says he likes the movement, which is funny because he didn't really tackle the topic. Exactly, I was waiting for him to talk about the movement, but he didn't talk about the movement at all in the review. Salty people in Smash will literally send you hate messages calling you a tryhard for using a wired connection. Really? That's retarded. Tekken players are the opposite. You gonna lag? Like, if you lag, if you get one tiny lag spike, you're gonna get hate mail. I got hate mail before because we played on 4 bars. Literally. He said he will not rematch me unless we play on 5 bars. Then what's the point of playing online? If he's so picky. He didn't say what's the good thing about Tekken. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. And I haven't heard any positives about the game that he likes. I wish he played Tekken more. I wish he just gave the game more time, but if he doesn't enjoy it, then there's no point for him to play the game. He has a lot of good points. He did say it's good, but he doesn't like it. There's a difference between knowing something is good and liking something. That's true as well. I mean, me as a Tekken player, I can't imagine getting into another fighting game because Tekken is so different. To be honest, I didn't like Street Fighter. I said on stream I like it and I would try it again, but damn, that game sucks. So different from Tekken, and I'm so used to the Tekken mechanics that I cannot imagine playing any fighting game with different mechanics. Even Dead or Alive sucks for me. God, you have to hold square or something to block. I don't think Dora is similar to Tekken. I really didn't like that game when I tried it. Very confusing. I like how intuitive Tekken is. You have one button corresponding to one limb, which I find super intuitive. And I don't think it works like that in many other fighting games, but I could be wrong. I love that about Tekken, and that's the part about Tekken that is beginner friendly, the intuitive controls. Everybody loves them. Everybody who starts playing Tekken tells me how they love the controls and the button system. Like when they press forward and 4, for example, they know what kind of move is gonna come out. And I like that. When I started playing Street Fighter, I couldn't wrap my head around the idea of having X as a light kick and square as a heavy kick. It was so weird for me. Not intuitive at all. Mortal Kombat is kind of similar to Tekken without the sidestep, and mids can be blocked either way. Yeah, and you forgot about those brute fatalities and stuff. Miss me with that. In Mortal Kombat, you have to press L1 on DualShock 4 to block. That's so lame. But to be honest, I would like to try another fighting game. I would like to find a fighting game other than Tekken that I can enjoy in. I would like to explore the mechanics of other fighting games. I should play more Street Fighter. I do think most people have played Tekken for such a long time that they're so used to the controls, the strings have become so natural for you all, but for people who haven't played Tekken for long, it actually isn't as natural. I get that. I get that. We both have the same issues. For non-Tekken players, they cannot get used to Tekken because it's so different to the other fighting games, and me as a Tekken player, I cannot get used to other fighting games because Tekken is so different. And I love Tekken's mechanics. And I find other fighting games incredibly difficult to pick up. Injustice 2 is fun for the first few days, but I'm bored of it now. Plus, to me, Tekken just makes sense. To me too, it's so hard to explain to other players. Tekken just kind of makes sense. But no other fighting games make sense to me. I don't understand the mechanics, no matter how hard I try. And if I do understand the mechanics, it's just too weird and not intuitive to me at all. The Tekken mechanics make sense in harmony. I think you used great words. Yeah, there is a certain harmony to Tekken mechanics. The fact that every button controls a certain limb is so good, or maybe I'm just used to it. Yeah, I love it too. I love it too. Really intuitive. You know, you know what kind of move you can expect. It's so cold, Beta Zero. It's cold here too. Really cold. It's hard to explain, but when you get the Tekken mechanics down, it's common sense. I agree. It's like learning how to walk. Everything just starts making sense.